releasing its forecast for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season.
Much anticipated, Andy. Of course, last year we saw an above average season, and this year the numbers are in. Now, keep in mind, every year they're going to give us a range for number of named storms. They're saying between 13 and 19. The average falls within it. Last year we had 18. As for hurricanes, between 6 and 10. And for major hurricanes, that's going to be category 3, 4, or 5. They're saying between 3 to 5. So what does this all mean? If we break it down, they're saying there's a 60% chance that this hurricane season is above normal in terms of activity. As for below normal, they're putting it at a measly 10%. So we can count on seeing at least near normal or above normal when it comes to the season. As for the names this year, they repeat every 6 years. The only new name on the list this year, that's going to be Dexter. That replaced Dorian from 2019. Otherwise, Andrea, that's the first one on the list. As for how they come up with this forecast, they look at a whole range of things. First of all, we are expecting the West African monsoon to be more active. That's going to bring more storms across the Atlantic. We're also keeping a close eye on the water temperatures. Right now in the Gulf, you'll notice the northern Gulf temperatures in the upper 70s, but look south of Cuba. We're already seeing temperatures in the lower 80s. Throughout the entire Gulf, this is already warm enough to support tropical development. As we go through the summer, these numbers are only going to increase, and the warm sea surface temperatures, that's going to translate to stronger and also a potential for more intense storms. Another factor that we watch, that's actually going to be the moisture content in our air. This time of year, we tend to watch for any Saharan dust making its way across the Atlantic. And it looks like this weekend, we're going to start to get some of our first big plumes crossing through the Caribbean. You'll notice by Sunday, these are going to be entering the Gulf. That means our skies are going to start to become a bit more hazy. But the good news is it'll suppress any tropical development that tries to form between now and the beginning of the season, just 9 days away. So a live look at the tropics right now. Thankfully, no formation expected in the next 7 days. But Andy, this is something we'll be tracking closely over the next few months. Coming up, I've got a closer look at your local forecast.
All right, Caroline, thank you. Now to Sandy. All right, let's talk about our weather. Caroline, a lot of folks are going to be traveling, leaving town tonight, flying, driving, all the things. We're just hoping the weather cooperates.
And I'll tell you what, the weather here is going to be rather cooperative. It's going to be if you're traveling to the north. That's where we're going to run into problems. Let me show you on a map, because this is severe season in the plains. You can see today, main problem is going to be if you're heading up towards Dallas, Fort Worth, or into Oklahoma. I know a lot of folks traveling on Friday as well. This is when we're going to track another low pressure system ejecting from the Rockies. That means portions of far eastern Colorado, high impact for travel on Friday. As for Saturday, that's going to expand from Oklahoma into Missouri. You'll notice here in Houston, not seeing really any impact. Even on Sunday, it's going to continue to stay in the plains. As for Monday, here, little impact, but we are going to start to see rain chances really increase. Now, as for the day today, we've got partly cloudy skies. It is another warm one. In fact, that humidity certainly back in full force. You can see temperatures currently sitting in the mid to upper 80s, 88 here in Houston, 90 in Katy, 84 out in Liberty. Winds are now coming in from the Gulf from the south-southeast, gusting up to 20 miles per hour. That's increasing our humidity values. Because of this, once again, we're talking about dangerous heat as we head into the afternoon. Actual air temperature making it right back into the mid-90s at the heat of the day, 4 o'clock, 94 degrees here in Houston. Factor in that humidity, feels like 102. Even as we head into the evening, going to be pretty slow to cool down. By 10 o'clock, still 84. Feeling like it's nearly 90 outside. Now, we are tracking some cooler weather, but it is going to come with rainfall. Let's talk about that. That cold front went stationary offshore. So far, we haven't seen any rain showers, but through the day today, I would not be surprised if anywhere south of I-10, an isolated shower or brief storm really can't be ruled out. Now, as we go into the weekend, We are going to track a few systems that might make it to Austin before they even reach us here in Houston. These are likely going to break up. It's not until Sunday that we're going to start to see rain chances increase here in the Houston area. And then this front out to the west, that's going to move in on Tuesday. This does mean elevated rain chances once we get into next week. So future tracks starting on Sunday, you'll see rain chances here increasing. That light green just showing a very low chance for rainfall. I think the highest likelihood on Sunday is going to be areas north of I-10. We've put a 20% for Sunday, but then into Memorial Day, rain chances really ramping up ahead of that next cold front. We're going to have moisture surging from the Gulf by early Monday morning, starting to track some storms. A lot of these things can change when it comes to location, but it does look like areas north of I-10 going to see the heaviest chance for rainfall. So Memorial Day weekend, Saturday still dry, a very summer-like pattern in the mid-90s. Sunday, not a washout, a 20% chance of storms. And then on Monday for Memorial Day, rain chances start to ramp up. In fact, we do have a flash flood risk already out there for Monday. This is Memorial Day, a low chance, but if you are planning on traveling, just plan on a bit of extra time. If those roads are wet, it certainly can get. Last day of May, we are so close to the beginning of June.
Hurricane season.
Oh, that's not the way to, yeah, I mean, that's true.
That's just our reality. Caroline, thank you.
Hot, humid day outside. A live look showing some puffy cumulus clouds out there. Not seeing anything in terms of rainfall, but certainly sticky. A lot of moisture in our atmosphere. Temperature-wise, we're heating up pretty quick. Right now, 88 here in Houston, 89 in Livingston, down on the island, 82 in Galveston. You'll notice that humidity. We had it briefly away yesterday morning. It's already back in full force. Winds coming in from the Gulf at about 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 20. Because it's coming off the water, that's increasing our humidity, and that's why it's already sticky. And it's not just the stickiness, it's also going to be what that does to our temperatures. You can add about 5 to 10 degrees to our actual air temperature, and that's what it's going to feel like in the afternoon. In fact, taking the kiddos out to the playground, I know a lot of folks getting out for school. It's going to be a hot one. At the heat of the day, 94 degrees, feeling up to 102 at 5 o'clock, 100, even at 7 p.m., 95 degrees. So a very warm start to what's going to be a very hot several days. Friday and Saturday, as we kick off Memorial Weekend, both days getting close to record high temperatures. 94 on Friday, 94 on Saturday. Partly cloudy skies. Now Saturday, a lot of graduations happening. Thankfully, we're not forecasting any rainfall, but I will say it's going to be humid out there. So please dress appropriately, pack plenty of water. Also, if you have bobby pins, I would recommend using them to secure that graduation cap, because winds are going to be from the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 20. You don't want those hats flying away before you're able to toss them in the air. Congratulations, by the way. Flash flood risk is going to start to move in as we get to the beginning of next week. On Monday, a low risk for all of southeast Texas. This is Memorial Day, which means you do want to have an indoor option for any pool parties or barbecues. Andy, coming up, we'll time out what you can expect for your Memorial weekend.
Caroline, thank you. It also doesn't help our situation with the tropics any.
Not at all. In fact, the Hurricane Center, we just got the new outlook for this upcoming season. And unfortunately, that warm water does support a more active season. Take a look at this. NOAA just releasing this at 10 a.m. this morning. You can see the official numbers. Now, they do give a range. They give a range every single year. 13 to 19 named storms, of which 6 to 10 could become hurricanes. Of those, 3 to 5 would be major hurricanes. Now, remember, this is a forecast for what forms in the Atlantic basin. This is not a landfall forecast. For all we know, none of these could hit land. Not going to be likely, but it is something that we've got to mention, because it does not mean that we'll definitely get one here in Houston. What it does mean is that we expect to see an above normal tropical season. There's a 60% chance of seeing more systems than we see in a typical year. In fact, below normal chance, only 10%. And a big reason why is going to be those warm sea surface temperatures. Right now in the Gulf, northern Gulf, already in the upper 70s. South of Cuba, 82 degrees. For tropical development, This is already warm enough. As we go through the summer, these temperatures are going to increase. That's going to allow for more frequent and more intense tropical systems. As for the tropics right now, well, happy to report we're not tracking anything out there. And one thing that's certainly helping is going to be Saharan dust. When we talk about dust through the summer, think of it like cedar chips. If you throw it on a wet floor, it's going to absorb all of that moisture. That's exactly what the African dust does in our atmosphere. As we track it across the Atlantic Ocean, it takes out the moisture. It prevents any storms from forming. Now, another thing it does is it can create poor air quality and hazy skies. That's actually going to start to move in starting on Sunday. And then another larger plume of dust is going to move in for the end of next week. Yes, it's going to be hazy. It could lower our air quality. But the good news is that's going to really prevent us from seeing any tropical development before the season starts. As for right now, a live look outside, it is certainly feeling like summertime here in Houston. We've got puffy cumulus clouds, temperatures in the upper 80s and the lower 90s. Right now, 90 in Katy, 87 up in Conroe. Humidity back in full force, and you've got dew points in the 70s. It's sticky, it's humid, not going to be the most pleasant day, and unfortunately that does add to our temperatures with our heat index value. So this afternoon at the heat of the day, actual temperatures mid-90s, feeling like the lower 100s. Please drink plenty of water. It is going to be a hot one. Heat risk today is going to be they should have an indoor option. No need to cancel, but just have a place to go if a thunderstorm does pass overhead.
Like to call it Plan B.
Exactly.
Caroline, thank you. Coming up, large companies potentially see for the upcoming hurricane season. Meteorologist Caroline Brown joining us with more on this. Caroline.
Andy, that's right. NOAA just dropped their forecast this morning for the hurricane season. Now, this is for the Atlantic Basin. They're saying 13 to 19 named storms, of which 6 to 10 become hurricanes. And of those, 3 to 5 become major hurricanes or Category 3 or higher. Now, remember, this is not a landfall forecast. This is what we anticipate to form in the Atlantic Basin. To break it down, it's NOAA's way of saying we are once again anticipating an above average season. There's a 60% chance that this will be an above normal hurricane season. As for below normal, a measly 10%. I certainly would not count on that. And a big reason why are these warm ocean temperatures. Already sitting in the upper 70s and lower 80s, and these numbers will keep rising through the summer. Right now, it's already warm enough to support tropical development, which is why we are anticipating more storms and slightly more intense storms. Thankfully, right now, we're not tracking anything in the tropics, and a big reason why is going to be African dust pushing its way across the Atlantic. That takes the moisture out of our atmosphere, really prevents any formation. But heads up, that means by Sunday, the dust and the haze moving into our atmosphere. This is just the start of a pretty dusty week ahead. Thankfully, keeping the tropics at bay, but it could lower our air quality. Andy, coming up, we'll talk much more about our Memorial Day forecast.
Caroline, thank you. Certainly doesn't help out in terms of our allergies, does it?
No, not at all. In fact, Wednesday morning we had slightly better conditions. I opened the door, mosquitoes came inside, pollen came inside. I kind of instantly regretted it. Take a look at our pollen forecast. Not doing so hot out there. I mean, some good news. Tree pollen low, weed pollen moderate, but grass pollen and mold spores both going to be in the high category. So if you suffer from allergies like myself, certainly take those medications. Keep those doors shut. If not for the allergies, then probably for the mosquitoes. They are certainly really out and about. A live look outside, you can see some puffy cumulus clouds over the top of Houston. It's a warm summer-like day out there. Temperatures across the board sitting in the lower to mid 90s. I want to show you Austin. Right now, 98 degrees here in Houston, 90, 93 in Katy. We've got winds that have been coming in from the Gulf, and that's increasing our humidity. So sustained 10 to 15, gusting up to 20. That means we're humid, a little bit more sticky. Factor in this humidity, and we're going to actually be feeling like the triple digits. Now, if you're heading out jogging this evening, you'll notice temperatures not cooling quite as fast as we were the last several days. By 8 o'clock, still 80 to 88 degrees, 84 at 10. We're going to be seeing mostly clear skies tonight, but then Friday and Saturday, both days really similar to what we're expecting today. A hot start and a hot afternoon. 94 on Friday. 94 on Saturday, and Saturday, a big day for a lot of high schools. That's high school graduation, and here's what you can expect. Thankfully, not worried about any rain or thunderstorms, but we are going to see temperatures climbing into the mid-90s, humidity feeling up to 102, winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. So if you have a graduate, I would recommend bobby pins to help keep that graduation cap on, at least until it's time for the big toss. Rain chances are going to start to ramp up once we get to Sunday, really increasing Monday and Tuesday. We do have some good news. Previously, we were putting 60% chance of rain for Monday. That's actually been trending down. We're forecasting a cold front that's going to move through on Tuesday, but still a 40% chance of rain on Monday. So Sunday, isolated showers, not a washout. Monday, that's going to start to increase in coverage. I think the highest likelihood of seeing storms, that's going to be well to the north of Houston. It is back in full force, and it really feels like summertime out there. A live look outside over the Southwest Freeway. We've got puffy cumulus clouds, and temperatures are blazing. Take a look. Currently sitting in the lower 90s here in Houston, 93 degrees, 91 in Conroe, 85 on the island. This is actual air temperature. Factor in the humidity, and a lot of us actually feeling like the triple digits. Here in Houston, feels like 100 degrees, feels like 102 for our friends out in Washington County, 100 in College Station. So please stay hydrated as we go through this evening, maybe taking the dog on a walk. Later is going to be feeling better. Sunset just after 8 o'clock, 88 degrees, at 9 o'clock, 86. But still feeling like the lower 90s. That's why the best time to get out and take the pup on a walk is going to be the very early morning hours. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be waking up in the mid-70s here in Houston, mid-70s up in Conroe. It's possible we can have a little bit of patchy fog, but staying dry at least until Sunday. Andy, coming up, I'll break down when you can expect the rain to really move in.
All right, Caroline, thank you. At the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season, certainly something that we all need to pay attention to, Caroline.
Absolutely. It's only 9 days away, and NOAA's just released their outlook today. Take a look at their outlook. The forecast showing an above-average season. 13 to 19 named storms, of which 6 to 10 would become hurricanes. Of those, 3 to 5 would become major storms. Now, that means a Category 3 or higher. So the main takeaway from this, at least for me, that they're forecasting an above normal season, a 60% chance of seeing above average when it comes to number of storms. Now, below average, that's not looking likely. They only said a 10% chance, and there's a lot of science behind why they're forecasting this. First off, the West African monsoon expected to be more active. That's where these storms originate. But most importantly, it's that sea surface temperature. And the upper Gulf, upper 70s, 82 south of Cuba, and this is still May. As we go through the summer, these are going to increase. And even right now, it's hot enough for tropical development. When we have that warm of water, it creates more intense storms and also more frequent storms as well, as it helps them develop. Now, the good news. We are still 9 days away, and right now, looking at the tropics, we're not tracking anything within the next week. One thing that's really helping us is actually going to be this dust moving in from Africa. You might notice we talk about this every single summer, and once again, it's dust season. We've got dust that travels over the Atlantic and moves in. The beautiful news is it's going to create vibrant sunsets. It can also lower our air quality, and you're going to start to notice that beginning on Sunday. More plumes of dust are going to come as well. But the benefit is that suppresses tropical development. Otherwise, a very summer-like day here in Houston. We've got puffy cumulus clouds, temperatures in the lower to mid-70s, 93 here in Houston. If you're jogging this evening, make sure you drink plenty of water. Temperatures slow to cool down, 86 by 9, 84 by 10 o'clock. And over the next 2 days, staying in that summer pattern, mid-90s, a hot, humid afternoon. Now, Saturday, there are plenty of high school graduations, and good news for the seniors, not forecasting any rain, but it will be humid and sticky. High temperatures mid-90s, feeling up to 104. If you've got a graduate, I would use bobby pins to help secure that hat, because winds are going to be gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Don't want it blowing away before the big toss. As for
weekend ahead, meteorologist Caroline Brown joining us now with a look at how conditions are out there right now.
I'll tell you what, Andy, it feels like summer here in Houston. It is warm, it's humid. We've got some puffy cumulus clouds scattered throughout southeast Texas, but for now, we're actually staying completely dry. Temperatures currently upper 80s to the lower 90s. Right now, 93 here in Houston, 93 in Katy, 91 out in Tomball. Factor in that humidity and it's feeling much worse. 99 here in Houston, 102 out in Brenham. So if you're heading out trying to celebrate the weekend early, I would definitely recommend an inside reservation. If you are heading out though for an early Memorial Day forecast there, temperatures going to be staying hot. No issues if you're heading to the airport. Conditions totally dry at 10 o'clock, still 84 degrees. And as we go through the day tomorrow, I think it's going to be a lot like what we saw today. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures raising from the lower 70s steadily through the day. By 11 a.m., 84, 94 at the heat of the day, but feeling close to 100 degrees. Another scorcher, and that's the start of what's going to be another pretty hot weekend ahead. In fact, over the next 2 days, temperatures are going to be reaching the mid-90s both Saturday and Sunday. Once we get into Sunday afternoon, that's when we're going to start to track the possibility of heavy downpours, isolated thunderstorms. Andy, not going to be a washout, but coming up, I'll let you know when you definitely need to have that umbrella.
All right, Caroline, thank you. It adds context to just how dangerous that is.
So dangerous. The concrete heats up fast, similar to how fast your car can heat up. It's just important to be aware of the heat, especially as we enter these summer months. It can sneak up on you fast. In fact, take a live look outside where it may be May, but it's feeling much more like July outside. We've got puffy cumulus clouds actually been decreasing through the day. You'll notice a little bit more sunshine now than what we woke up to this morning from our arc generators camera. Temperature wise, certainly on the toasty side. Right now, look at San Antonio, 99 degrees. This is actual air temperature. When you factor in the humidity here in southeast Texas, we feel like the upper 90s to 100. San Antonio, actual air temperature nearly 100. Now here in southeast Texas, we've been seeing these winds coming from the Gulf, sustained about 5 to 10, but gusting up to 15 miles per hour. That's been helping our humidity increase, which is why we are feeling a bit more sticky outside. I know yesterday morning it felt nice, but now we're back to feeling humid, which means as we go through the overnight hours, we're really not going to see a tremendous amount of relief. Even midnight, 80 degrees, feeling like the mid 80s, waking up tomorrow morning, mid 70s. Get out and enjoy it because that's the best that it's going to be. Both Friday and Saturday afternoon high temperatures making it into the mid 90s, a very summer-like pattern. And Saturday afternoon, if you've got any graduations, winds are going to be pretty breezy as well. Coming from the south, gusting up to 20 miles per hour. So thankfully staying dry for our graduations, but it is going to be on the humid side. Rain chance is going to really start to ramp up next week. You can see like a staircase. Tuesday, a cold front pushes through. Not going to do a tremendous amount to our high temperatures, but it is going to bring our lows back into the lower 70s. So you'll notice for Memorial Day weekend,
nice.
That's the hope.
That's the hope. Caroline, thank you.